Hey guys, it's Angel, welcome back, and today we have a freeware offering for you. This is a Airbus A330-300 produced by the guys at the Livery Megapack team. Of course, being from them, has a huge selection of liveries, this one being Delta. Now, this is freeware, so of course, not looking for perfection here, but this provides a reasonably okay A330. It uses the default A320 Cockpit as a base, which isn't too far off what the 330 has, so it works. Now, if you're looking for a perfection-based, fully involved model, that's a full-on study aircraft, it's not that, we know that, but you know what? It's not bad, and it's free. Let's take a look. We're out here at Davis Monothine Airport, and of course, Airbus Cockpit, they're all relatively the same, within reason, of course, so it gives us that option. But outside, of course, unlike a lot of the default aircraft, not mirrored, which is nice. A good start there, of course. And yes, we are here at Davis Monothine. Or Davis Monothine. I always mispronounce that one. I believe I'm starting up on my APU is. Let's go inside and take a quick look-see-doodle. I don't think we actually are, but I don't know how to start airlines well, so we'll just save some time here and control-E this baby. Because you can. So, you know, considering it's using the 320 cockpit, the cockpit looks decent, actually. Performance is great on this one. I'm actually noticing really good performance overall. The aircraft is, as they said, simple, but that's not exactly a bad thing. We're looking for a functional aircraft. If you enjoy flying the default 320, sorry, or the 74, or the Dreamliner, or some of the modded versions of that, this is not bad. Now, this has had some tweaks, of course, to its systems and electronics and other factors, which will dial it more specifically to the 330, 300 in this case, but overall it gives us a good aircraft. Now, the flight model is completely custom, created by the developers themselves, and looking at my engines, we have spooled up here. It's wonderful, that Control-E button, especially for those of us who don't know what we're doing when it comes to airliners. I gave up after trying the last one where I had to fiddle around buttons for half an hour, read a manual, and that wasn't even a great add-on, to be fair. But, we are going on. Let's make sure all our lights are turned on. Should be good for us there. Or the ones we need, at least. Landing lights are apparently on. That's okay. Alright, let's take this baby for a spin and see how she performs. Alright, spool up the engines. Now, of course, the 330 is a wide body designed by Airbus, of course, conceived in multiple derivatives in the mid-70s. Now, of course, it began working on it in parallel with the 340, which was their quad jet, and the body is the same as the early ones for that, or the main body at least. And first came out, of course, 87 for that. 300 took its first flight in 1992. So taxi this aircraft's really nice, really pleasant here. I guess that's the taxi and head down to the end of the runway here at Davis Monothine. And of course the shorter 200 came out just after that in 98. Powered by 3 engine variants, as I'm probably going to run over this vehicle on the taxiway, which is nice of them. We have the power plants from Rolls-Royce with their Trent 700. We have the Pratt & Whitney PW4000s. And we have the GE CF6s. Not particularly sure which model this uses for its engines, but we'll just run over that car, no big deal. And I'm going to be way too close to those buildings over there. So I think that's the taxiway we should be on over there. As I'm going to wobble my way over to that side instead, because we're a little bit too big to fit down there, I think. And you'll have to apologise for me not being an airliner jockey. It's not my thing in the sim, but I'm not looking here to review this from an airline expert's perspective. I'm giving you an overview of the aircraft in general. In terms of it being good for performance, it sure is. The initial aircraft download's about 450-ish meg. And the livery pack, which is from the same exact place, at Livery Megapack Discord, is about 500. And comes to about 20-30 different liveries. I believe that's one of the 320s there, being loaded up. Alright, so we'll just continue our taxi down to the end here. We'll pick up a little bit of speed here. We are going a little bit too slowly. So, The aircraft's flight characteristics have been mentioned as having quite a very, let's say, lucid rudder. It's a little rudder happy, a little bit more effective than it should be. I'm going to crush you if you don't move. Your choice. Move, biatch, get out the way. There we go. You asked for that. Taxiing the aircraft's great. Performance is great on the ground at various airports, but I've noticed that, like I said, the rudder authority is quite good on the ground. Or at least the nose wheel steering authority, which is not a great sign, because that does mean it's going to be even more raggedy in the air. Of course, one of the most sensitive aspects of 2020 is the rudders are incredibly hypersensitive, and that means you have to have sensitivity dialed quite down, meaning that you end up with a very stiff ground handling. This does not experience that issue, so that could be a sign, but who knows. Fuel truck versus A330. Who's going to win? Like I said, the exterior modelling is nice. Not bad in the slightest. Is it a bus? Oh, yes. Cool, we get to get kids today. Excellent. 10 points for Slytherin. I don't care. Why they've got vehicles driving down the taxiway with them large airliners taxiing, I don't know. But guess what? We're doing that, apparently. As with all the liveries, of course, produced by this crew, I'm not going to go into too much detail on them. Most of you have seen them already who are into the airliners. They're high quality. They look great. They make some really good stuff. And there's a huge variety and good, should we say, support amongst the community. Their Discord's a great place to hang out if you're into those sort of aircraft and the freeware mods for various existing ones. They've got a couple of upcoming projects, including the return of their 747. There's also going to be a CRJ-700 and a couple of other aircraft they're working with. So it's going to be quite cool, actually. Okay, so we're here at the runway. Let's get ourselves taxied out here to the threshold. Okay, let's set flaps for takeoff. A little bit turned over there. Okay, we've been 7 minutes in the video already. We've not even left the ground, so that's a great start, isn't it? We're going to go for a hot departure here. Let's get her turned onto the runway, and we should be out of here in no time whatsoever. Take a nice little look at this plane. Not going to bother bringing it back into land because that will just take too much time, although we could do that. I'll just cut and turn around. Makes it much easier to do that sort of thing. Okay. So right here on the runway at Davis-Montaigne. FMC functionality is exactly the same as the standard ones you've got, so it works for what you need, realistically. Okay, spooled up. Engines look... Right, they're coming up now. Let's go. Let's see how she performs. We'll see if that rudder is as sensitive as I think it's going to be. Rolling in the open desert of Arizona. It's Arizona, isn't it, for Davis-Montaigne, or is it Nevada? It's one of the two. They're both deserts, basically. Just one's got Vegas in it. Picked somewhere with a really nice long runway. I wasn't sure about various runway lengths at other airports, so we chose this. Okay, gonna be easing back on the stick now. And she lifts off positively. Smooth, actually. Very smooth climb out. That is really nice. Attracting flaps and gear, positive rate. And there you can see the vast fields of Americas. It's funny, really. They have shows about people who hoard, and then you've got the US military, who hoards like the best of them. Aircraft is positive. Very, very positive. Look at all this aircraft. That is insane. I've not been out here before in the Sims, so that is quite nice to see. Okay, we're overspeeding significantly here because of our climb attitude, but we'll ease the nose down here. Oh, that's stiff. That is incredibly heavy. Okay. Wow. That required quite a bit of force in the controls to get the nose to come down. Pull the throttle back even more because we're speeding up now. Let's give that rudder a good check, shall we? Whoa, hello. I'm going full extension to opposite here. And that is quite dramatic. Yeah, that's a sensitive rudder. Whee! Whee! Giving it a good kick for the sake of science, right? That's the whole point, isn't it? Woo-wee. Yeah, let's not kick the rudder too hard. That baby will go for it. Absolutely will. Yeah, you have to use a lot of trim to get that nose to come down because she doesn't want to. I'm noticing my trim is running here. That's not good. That is interesting, actually, that my trim is running. Alright, let's pull the throttles back to flight idle. And, yeah, you want to be real sensitive when you're touching that rudder pedal into a bank because, whoo, yeah, she definitely wants to go. Your damper might be your best friend in this case. Overall, roll and pitch are good, I'd say. It behaves very well. It feels sturdy and big. Unlike the 737 I reviewed recently, it definitely feels a lot more airlinery in its overall handling characteristics, other than that rudder, which appears to be the size of the Eiffel Tower, according to the aerosurface. Let's just have some fun, shall we? I wonder if I can do this. Nope, doesn't want to go. Trying to roll it over and actually roll the aircraft, it won't do it. So it doesn't particularly want to go over there. That is unfortunate. But we'll be back as we make approach back to Davis-Montaigne. Okay, so we're rolling onto final here back towards Davis-Montaigne. And runway should be just off our nose in a moment. Aircraft's been responding incredibly nicely the way I've just taken around this large loop here. I believe the reason why the trim wheels keep moving is I think auto trims, I think, in Airbuses. You may be able to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't fly Airbuses. The bus part kind of puts me off. Alright, let's get the nose level here. But I can fly aeroplanes, and I will say it handles like it's a massive brick, which feels more appropriate. I know the Braddock 737 I reviewed did not feel too airlinery. It felt really kind of fightery in a way. It was a little bit too responsive, whereas this aircraft definitely feels much sturdier, much bigger. From what I've heard from a friend who's flying this, who does fly a lot of airliners, it's been similar to other 330s he's flown in other simulators like P3D and X-Plane. So there is that it has going for it. So we'll maintain our speed on approach to about 170 knots here, 160. We rotated just before 160, so don't want to make it too hard here. Landing flaps, gears down, and locked. Okay. Speed is nice and controlled. Making a nice steady approach here to the main runway. We'll let that speed just bleed off a small amount here with the flaps deployed. Keep it just above 150, maybe 160-ish ballpark. Okay, we're coming in good for the threshold here. Nice steady descent. The aircraft feels very manageable in this phase of flight. Okay, 150. We're looking good for the numbers. Ease the throttle forward a little bit here. Pulling back. Not getting much nose at response. Throttles up. There we go. That made me float more than I wanted to. But I didn't get much nose at response at that speed. My throttles were idle, which is something I'm not meant to do in jets, I've been told. So we'll be aware of that. There we go. Main gear touchdown. Let's roll the nose onto the center line here. And we're down with a bit of a bounce. So it's basically Ryanair flight. Full reverse on the engines. Should bring us down to a halt here quite nicely. Let's give it a little bit of braking. We're not going to make that turn off, but we're not going to be far. Actually, you know what? Ryanair exit. Let's go. Ryanair taxiway exit. We'll pull off to, you know, with one main gear on the runway at least. Okay, so what do I think of this so far? Not being an airliner jockey, this feels like probably the best of the airliners that have come out recently in terms of what we've got. There's more complex versions, mods, should we say, for the 320 and the 74. But in terms of being an actually appealing aircraft that doesn't have mirrored sides, this definitely does it for me. Let's actually go take a look at some of those liveries, shall we? Okay, so it fits into your categories alongside, of course, the 320neo. In terms of liveries, we have their actual Project Mega Pack, House livery, we have Air Canada, including their new one. We have Air France, Air Transat, Cathay Pacific, Emirates. We have Finnair, Hawaiian, Jetstar. We have Korean Air. We have Lion, Condor, Seapair, Delta. We have the House livery for 330. We have Turkish, Lufthansa, Philippine Airlines, Qantas, Scandinavian, South African, Swiss, TAP. We have Virgin. We have WOW, and we even have FedEx Cargo. So, no matter what you really want to fly, this has an option for it, which is honestly kind of cool. This feels like I might actually try an airliner flight in this. I have to read some information and study a little bit and work out the FMC, and I might go and do an airliner flight. This is the first one that appeals to me, actually. Well, hopefully this was of interest to you guys. Apologise for offending your airliner sensibilities with my terrible GA brain, but I will do my best for you as always. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.